Aloha everyone, this is the Doorman here, and I'm going to be opening up with the Week 1 roundups of the Season 6 for EBL. Basically what I'm going to be doing is giving a brief summary or synopsis of what the battle went. My main focus is who everybody brought, what the first turns look like for everybody, major stuff that happened with the legendaries and stuff like that, and any Dynamax moments and stuff like that. So if there's a little bit of minor stuff that happened here and there, you need to go check out every single coach down in the description below and go check out and watch the battles in full. But like I said, it's going to be a brief summary. Some very exciting battles for week 1. Definitely exciting battles. No sweeps or anything, so this is very good. For the first battle, we have the Essex Espions versus the Detroit Luxrays. Pidge brought Excadrill, Mew, Toxtricity, Zamazenta, Mudsdale, and Mimikyu. While Max, coach of the Detroit Luxrays, Pidge is also the coach of the Essex Espions, my bad about that. Max brought Whimsicott, Comfey, Groudon, Slowking, Galarian Slowking, Charizard, and I believe it is Urshifu Rapid Strike. Single Strike is the fighting and dark type. I might be wrong about this. Please do comment about below, because I did not write that in my notes. Next time I will write that in my notes. But both Pidge and Max do strong leads on both sides, as Pidge brings out the Mew and then Max brings out the Groudon. They decide to duke it out for a little bit. Pidge, seeing that he may not get to take out the Groudon before Groudon takes the Mew out, he decides to Dynamax. But looking at the stats and everything, Max decides to switch out to the Comfey to hopefully save his Groudon for a little bit later. Now, with Mew Dynamax and everything, Max is like, cool, let me use Comfey and Whimsicott to stall up the Dynamax, which it does do. And then Mew manages to take out both the Comfey and the Whimsicott, even during the Dynamax and even after Dynamax. But as the Whimsicott goes down, is able to use Tailwind to set up the next Pokemon to succeed, which just happens to be Groudon over on Max's side. With the Tailwind, Groudon starts to mow down Pidge's team, going big in Dynamax and dealing massive damage to everybody, also dealing with the Zamazenta on Pidge's side. After Groudon comes down, Pidge is like, great, I have the opportunity now. I go into Mimikyu, I start Swords Dancing, you know the normal stuff with Mimikyu, and Mimikyu's able to knock down the Groudon, and it starts to look bad for Max as he sends up Charizard. Now the reason why I say this is because during the whole time that Groudon was Dynamax, Pidge was able to get a Stealth Rocks up, so that means that Charizard now coming out took a lot of damage. And it even takes a lot of damage from the Mimikyu, but it, however, tends to live on 1 HP, letting Max hang on to hope as it gets rid of the Mimikyu, which then, after everything happens, Urshifu comes out, barely manages to hang on with 1 or 2 hits, but is able to secure the victory for Max. Max won this fight with a 6-5 in favor to him. Next fight we have is going to be the New York Metas versus the Texas Tyrannotars. Max's, the coach of the New York Metas, brought Zacian, Togekiss, Gastrodon, Grimmsnarl, Gyarados, and Dialga. While me, Alan, the coach of the Texas Tyrannotars, I brought Clefable, Eternatus, Zapdos, Rotom Heat, Zoroark, and Sharpedo. Grimmsnarl and Clefable both hit the field, showing off their tech with the screens, with the stuff I was able to do Clefable, like Brick Break and Icy Wind. As it comes on a little bit, Zoroark does not get to come into disguise. It takes a hit, which fails as a disguise. But before it manages to do it, it gets 2 flinches in a row, which prompts Maxis to bring out Zacian because he doesn't want Gastrodon to go down. It sets up against Alan over here against me, but I'm able to use Clefable to stop him, and then in answer to that, Maxis brings out Dialga to get rid of the Clefable. Zapdos comes in out a little bit later, goes big, it takes out the Dialga, which then Maxis goes, alright, cool, this is what I was waiting for. He brings out the Grimmsnarl, uses Thunder Wave, paralyzes the Zapdos, crippling his speed, which does lead to be Zacian taking it down after Grimmsnarl does go down, where no more screens can be brought up. Rotom comes out after Zacian, slowing it down with Thunder Wave and actually able to finish it off. And then a little bit back and forth, you know what I mean, with the Togekiss and the Eternatus and stuff like that. Gyarados comes out as Max's last Pokemon and finally goes big. Uses the Dynamax, Max Airstream, knocks out Eternatus turn 1, and then is able to clean up the rest of my team with securing the win for Maxis. Maxis won with a 6-5 in his favor. Next up, we have the San Antonio Espers versus the Carolina Garchomps. If I could learn to slow down a little bit, I am sorry. Sly Guy, which is the coach of the San Antonio Espers, he brought out Blaziken, Aerodactyl, Magearna, Zygarde, Weavile, and Rotom Wash. While Newtbox, coach of the Carolina Garchomps, brought out Rayquaza, or Ray, Talonflame, Marshadow, Melodic, Armaldo, and Lantern. Now, Armaldo and Aerodactyl both take to the field, showing us a ancient fossil start. After some shenanigans on both sides, including trying for Rock Polish, but not because of the taunt and stuff like that, Ray hits the field against Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl's able to get in some massive damage, while the Ray does get a bulk up, but it doesn't kind of help as Aerodactyl's able to finish it off. After a little bit, Zygarde hits the field against the Talonflame, but then Newt decides to switch out to Lantern. And maybe asking why go for electric type? Well, Lantern was able to get a Scald burn onto the Zygarde, hindering its attack very badly before eventually going down to it. At the same time as Zygarde's out there with the burn, with the Lantern doing some damage, and now Talonflame out there, Zygarde's ability popped off, making it perfect. Sell Zygarde, making it perfect. Newt starts to use the burn and his Talonflame to chip, stall, do everything it can to make the Zygarde's health go lower and lower and lower. Which is actually a lot, because after it goes down, Marshadow is the only Pokemon left on... No, my bad. Marshadow does come out after that, and basically with... Now the Zygarde being like +3 in attack and speed, trying to raise this stuff back up after the burn, switches out to Weavile, does a little bit of damage against Weavile, and then, which is a little bit funny, Newt decides to make Marshadow big in the Dynamax, which was he thought he couldn't do, but you can do, which I know all of us have made that joke this week, but I'm going to make the same joke again here a little bit. Marshadow goes big against the Weavile, knocking it down. Sly Guy's like, okay, this is what I was afraid of a little bit. I'm going to go big with my Blaziken, hopefully able to get a speed boost or two to knock down this Marshadow and secure me the victory. But however, Marshadow manages to pull through and manages to take down the Blaziken. While the Blaziken is Dynamaxed, but Marshadow is not. And manages to still take down the Blaziken. Then Magearna comes out, hopefully it'll enable to live a hit against it, but is not able to at all. Taking down Magearna, Zygarde comes out, but it's like 9 HP with Shadow Sneak, gets taken out anyway, and Marshadow is able to secure the victory for Newt. Newt won the battle with a 6-4, and I also chose this as the Commissioner's Battle of the Week. I loved writing the notes for it and everything. I think it's a fantastic battle, fantastic story. So starting off with the fossils, and then the Zygarde getting burned, Newt's trying to whittle it down little by little so that way he can get rid of it, Marshadow pulling through and everything. I just love the notes and everything writing for it is why I decided to make this the Commissioner's Battle of the Week. Next up, we have the DC Starmies versus the Walton Wingles. I am so sorry if I can't pronounce something correctly. Timmy B is the coach of the DC Starmies. They brought out Palkia, Solgaleo, Incineroar, Mamoswine, Electivire, and Archeops. While Nate, the coach of the Walton Wingles, they brought out Mewtwo, Articuno, Dubwool, Galarian Rapidash, Lucario, and Klefki. Klefki and Incineroar hit the field first. Klefki manages to do some shenanigans because of the Prankster ability before switching out to Articuno, breeding a ground-type move. Timmy then tries to switch over to Electivire, which then Nate is like, okay, cool, I have an answer for this with Mewtwo, and is able to finish off the Electivire. But then Mewtwo and Articuno, after Mewtwo goes down, is knocked out by Incineroar, proving how very terrifying Incineroar is in Sword and Shield still. After getting rid of both of Nate Restrict, after a little bit, Nate decides to bring out Dubwool and make it Dynamax, make it a big old sheep. But unfortunately, Mamoswine was able to live all the hits that it had from the Dubwool and managed to take it out afterwards, which pretty much just stalled it out. Which then, a little bit later, Timmy was able to bring out Solgaleo and just finish off the rest of Nate's team. Timmy won with a 6-3 in favor of Timmy in that fight. Next, the almost other Commissioner's Battle of the Week, besides the Espeons versus the Detroit Luxrays. There was 3 battles here that was so close to the Commissioner's Battles of the Week, honestly. It was just so close with these three battles here. But with this last battle here, we have the Florida Rowlets versus the Snowdonian Frostmoss. Snowdonian Frostmoss brought Lugia, Dragapult, Jolteon, Mienshao, Lapras, and Snorlax. And while Mike the Quick, coach of the Florida Rowlets, and Jakey XY is the coach of the Snowdonia Frostmoss, they brought out Kyogre, Rotom Freeze, Shiinotic, Urshifu, this one is the Rapid Strike, I believe, the Fighting and Water typing, Pelipper, and Seismitoad. I also do apologize, I forgot to say the Rotom form that Sly brought was the Rotom Wash. I might have said it, not 100% sure, but I might have said it, but I might not have. Just wanted to say it just in case I didn't. But let me get back to the Florida Rowlets and the Snowdonia Frostmoths. The battle starts off with Pelipper and Jolteon on both sides of the screen, which is very favorable until Seismitoad comes out, and they end up doing a back and forth until Lugia decides to come out. Rotom comes out while Lugia is trying to Calm Mind, maybe being a little bit greedy because it goes for it multiple times trying to get that Calm Mind up, but is unable to because Rotom gets a para against the Lugia, but it does unfortunately get to go down. After that, Seismitoad is able to come up, clean up against the Lugia because of the para and just moves missing and stuff like that, which then the next Titan to come out on either one of the side is Kyogre on Mike's side versus the Lapras. They managed to exchange status, paralysis on the Lapras because of Thunder, and then sleep on Kyogre because of Sing. Then Jakey decides to try and bring out his Dragapult because Kyogre's now asleep and he starts dragon dancing in front of this thing. But I feel like he got a little bit too greedy again because as he tries to keep more setting up, Kyogre wakes up really quickly, ice beams, and just takes down this Tango dancing dragon. They exchange a little bit more, but as Seismitoad has proven throughout this battle time and time again, it is a wall for Jakey. He's not able to get past it, although it looks like he's able to get past it there a little bit. But he's not able to get past it, which with Seismitoad securing the victory for Mike. Mike won with a 6-1 in this battle, and what's even funny is how I said every other battle here had Dynamax Pokemon happening. This is the one battle that didn't have the Dynamax Pokemon happening at all. Seems like both the coaches forgot, which is why I feel like this is also another good runner-up for the Commission Battle of the Week, besides the Essex Espeons versus the Detroit Luxrays. That battle was just insane as well. But this is the roundup for Week 1. I do apologize if I talk a little bit faster than normal. I'm just that way a little bit, and I could try to work on it better for next time. And with that, I will see you next time for either the rankings or Week 2 roundups. And with that, I will see you by next time.